Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Vibes Digest. It's your host Cameron St. Clair, and today I am by myself. Yeah, it's a solo episode. I know it's been quite a while. I feel like 6-ish weeks since I've done just an episode by myself. I was literally telling Tiana, it's gonna be a rough one. I feel like not being able to bounce off somebody and just like talking to yourself for essentially 45 minutes to an hour is a teensy bit rough, but we're gonna get through it. I hope you guys been enjoying all the different guests though. I had a couple friends give me some personal feedback. If you guys ever want to give me feedback yourself, feel free to comment down below on the YouTube or even like DM me on Instagram. We can chat about like how the show is going and your personal opinion. But my friends made a funny comment. They were like, I'm so shocked that you've been having such success with like back-to-back guests. And yes, I'm very grateful. I cannot believe that I've literally been able to book so many like DJs and just like people in general who aren't necessarily close friends. Like a lot of times I'm meeting them day of, which is wild. But I definitely appreciate all the like natural, organic support from folks, especially because I'm such like a small podcast. I don't know why I get a little insecure. I'm like, oh yeah, my name is like Vibes Digest. And it's like, I don't have a ton of followers. Like I just started in October and they're like, no, this is actually so cool. You have to start somewhere. So definitely love the support. I was actually talking to last week's guest, Ryan, about this. He was like, dang, like this is already episode 18. Obviously this one is 19. And I was like, yeah, like it sounds crazy that I'm like on episode 19. However, I just started this in October. I'm just being like super consistent, which he like pointed out. So people would think that I've been doing this for like over a year or two. No, y'all, it hasn't even been 6 months yet. It might be like 6-7 months at this point. But every episode, I don't know about y'all, I feel like I'm definitely getting better at this, just naturally chit-chatting, even like right now, because the last time I want to say like 6 or 7 weeks ago when I did a solo episode, I literally had to do the intro 2, 3, 4, 11 times. And then I think about 10 minutes in, I said, you know, we're just gonna start this whole thing over. So we're already moving a lot more smoothly. Ooh, is that proper grammar? I don't know. Don't judge. I hope you guys have also been enjoying the DJ series. I've had 2 different DJs, one who is a final DJ, and then Ryan Host was last week. He does this full time. It was really cool to hear both of their different experiences. Very like polar opposite DJ styles, honestly, which was really cool. And then I'm going to LA, not next episode, but like the following episode. I'm in LA for 2 weeks. I already have an LA DJ. It's a female DJ. I'm so excited. And I'm going to be interviewing out there. And yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying this series, like learning behind the scenes of kind of what it's like to curate an experience. I wanted to say like a musical experience, but just like an experience overall, like a party, a vibe, if you will. No pun intended. I hope you guys have been enjoying just like learning behind the scenes, like how do they actually song select? How do they learn about DJing? If there's ever any questions that you have related to that topic, again, feel free to send me a DM and I would definitely ask them. So yeah, I'm super excited. Now let's chat about my weekend. So typically I'm always like kicking off the episode that way. Y'all already know this. I'll ask the guests, hey, how was your weekend? But now I'm just like talking about myself awkwardly. My weekend was pretty cool. I just got back from Dallas yesterday. I went out to Dallas to support Black on the Block. I've actually interviewed both of the founders there, my cousins. I'm now on the payroll. Amen. Love that. I'm helping them with like vendor management, a little bit of social, and just gaining some experiential marketing. As some of you guys know, my 9-to-5 is in marketing, and I wanted to fill in the gaps on my resume and just like learn more about the experiential marketing space, and they're helping me do that. So yeah, I was out in Dallas and I had such a time. It was my first time in Texas. Technically, I was in Arlington, which is like the suburbs of Dallas, but we did go into like downtown Dallas on Friday. We went out. That was a time. First of all, going out in Dallas was so fascinating. We first went to this lounge called Ginger's, and then there was I don't know the name of the club. It was walking distance. It was like down the street. I have been to some hole in the wall clubs, okay? I am from Prince George's County, PG County. So I go out in DC, you know, it kind of gave Rose Bar, but a little ghetto. It was like Rose Bar was somehow the classier version of this club that I was in. I was amazed. First of all, I'm not even gonna hold you. I know people think that I look young. I was like, am I too young to be here? My cousins and I were saying the same thing. Like, Everybody low-key looked a little underage. I'm not gonna hold you. But they were dancing and that was fun. There was hookah everywhere. And I wish I could like describe how big the space was. I mean, obviously you guys don't know how big this studio space is, but like, I kid you not, it might have been twice the size of this, which is tiny for a club, but everyone had sections and there was like not really a dance floor, but again, everybody was dancing in their own sections. I really enjoyed meeting some of y'all country Texas men. Y'all are funny. And it was also funny, like the bottle culture too. Like I've never seen so many men like posting their bottles that they were having in the sections, but it was expensive bottles. I'm not gonna hold you. It was like 1942. What's the blue and white bottle? Azul? Is that the name of it? Y'all was all passing it around. It was like almost like a freaking bottle war. And that was just Dallas. So yeah, a time was had. But it was definitely a little hood in there. I'm not going to lie. But like a fun hood, if you will. Like a country hood. I feel like that's the difference. Something else I want to call out though is the DJs were amazing at Black on the Block. I will say, I don't want to hear anybody making any negative comments about Kendrick Lamar anymore, because why was I seeing people in Texas, in Dallas, Texas, literally dance battling each other to squabble up? And this just tells me that I have to ignore all the like Twitter comments, YouTube comments, all the bots, anybody basically saying that like, oh, Kendrick doesn't have any cultural impact, you know, like GNX has no replay value. Nobody's really like listening to the album still, like only people from California, maybe New York, like the major cities. No, like they didn't even play Not Like Us not once, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I was working it. I was also going like in and out. So maybe the hour and a half I spent in the hotel, somebody played it. But when I was there, I didn't even hear Not Like Us once. I was hearing like Squabble Up, for example, and everybody was going crazy. Like you would have thought we were in California. So it just goes to show you that like all the trolls, all the people on Twitter, all the OVO gang, like I feel like people just act like on social media that he's not who he is. And no, people are still playing the album. People are still enjoying his music. And yeah, sometimes honestly, this is a larger conversation, but I really do believe that a lot of folks on like social media, just social media in general, sometimes feels like amplified than like what's actually happening in real life. You'll think that a bunch of people who strongly dislike a specific artist or team, whoever, are just a person. And then like you get in real life and you realize that's not it. That's not it at all. But it makes sense because like 100 comments on a social media post versus like going to a party or like seeing people actually interact with one another and like the music in real life. Sometimes those 100 comments might seem louder because it's in your face a lot faster than just like going outside and witnessing it for yourself. Yeah, people were going up for him. Okay, let's move on to current events. This happened recently. I want to say this happened yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. But, oh boy. Have you guys heard that the Atlantic editor-in-chief, Jeffrey Goldberg, was accidentally added to a group chat with multiple senior members of the Trump administration, including Vice President J.D. Vance and then Pete Hegseth. I think I'm pronouncing that right, so sorry if I'm not. But he's the U.S. Secretary of Defense. And guess what they were texting in this group chat? War plans. Is this not insane? I'm not gonna lie, I don't watch cable, so I don't know if like how much people are covering this on the news, but I'm thinking in social media terms, I am shocked that like this isn't all down my timeline. This is wild. First of all, where's the security? Like, I didn't know that our freaking world leaders are just out here texting in a group chat war plans, like literally like times that they're gonna bomb a country. Is that not insane? Is that not illegal? I'm just thinking about, and I could be stretching here, but I'm just thinking about the amount of times I've gotten scam text messages from people who are claiming that like my package hasn't been delivered or like fake Amazon delivery people. I have like literal scammers in my phone texting, and I'm convinced that they're probably tapped into my phone, honestly. Like they probably could read my text messages. You're telling me that it's not a security breach, that you guys are having like full-on war plan conversation over text on the same devices that are probably also dealing with like all types of scammer messages, text messages, like people can easily tap into it. Don't let it be an iPhone. Don't let it be in the cloud. Do you know how many people, I mean, granted, I don't want to give Apple a bad rap because maybe they've tightened up their security there. But I remember a time when like all celebrities' nudes and like crazy messages were getting exposed because it was on the cloud. Again, I don't know what phone they got. I didn't pay attention to like what color the bubble was in the screenshots. Maybe it's an Android, but if you guys are texting war plans over iCloud, that's nuts. That's actually insane. Number one. Number two, honestly, shout out to Jeffrey Goldberg. I'm not going to hold you. I would have not left that group chat. He said that people didn't realize that they accidentally put him in there, and so he left. I would love to be a fly on the wall, though, when like their hearts sunk. When they realized that they had a reporter, a freaking editor-in-chief of a major magazine, or sorry, a major newspaper in a group chat, like hearing like top secret information. I know that they were probably like shaking in their boots, but also I would have stayed all 4 years. I would have stayed as long as I possibly could until like somebody else noticed. Maybe this is probably why I shouldn't have access to this level of power, because I'm nosy. I want to know what y'all are talking about, what y'all planning next. Let me know. And matter of fact, I might be just like saving some receipts, and this would have been my retirement plan. 4 years of like classified information or just like gossiping that probably was going on in that group chat. I would want to know the tea, and I probably would have made a whole tell-all book, and that would have been his retirement plan. But also, I guess, like potential jail time. I don't know. Is that really his fault? That is my question of the day. If like I am accidentally placed in a group chat like that, let's say I just don't leave. I don't see any laws that says I have to leave a group chat where y'all are spilling too much information. Let's say I don't leave. Am I now at fault? Like, is it my responsibility to actually like step outside of something that like I know I'm not supposed to be receiving this information, but like you guys are placing the information in front of me? Like, is it my responsibility to not like, I don't know, like read? I guess it's kind of like if you see a classified folder just like sitting on your desk and it clearly says somebody else's name, like should you actually like read through that classified folder? Probably not. Maybe that is like, okay, yeah, maybe he probably should have left, but I don't know. He's better than me. I definitely would not have. I think this is also just a larger conversation of how unserious that administration is. Because what are we doing? I also would love to know like what Trump's reaction was to this. He probably thinks that they're a bunch of idiots. Like I would hope he's also not texting like insanely classified information to like Elon Musk, for example. That would be absolutely insane. Probably not hard to believe, but I would hope that he's smarter than that. I don't know. I feel like I might be giving him too much credit. No shade. But I do like wonder what his reaction was. Was he just like, ugh, this guy, like who told me to make this man my freaking vice president? And like, why the hell did he not think that this was like a terrible idea to be, again, just texting? Like the fact that a freaking editor-in-chief of somebody who is not like sworn into oath, probably has no NDA, probably nothing, could just tell any old body. He told the world he knew 2 hours before our country got bombed that they were about to get bombed. Like that is, I don't think people realize the severity of that. That's wild. And also, how do y'all accidentally, like, who did you think, like, which Jeffrey should have been in there? Anyway, moving on, we're gonna now go to more lighter conversations. Before I go to Digital Digest, let's actually talk about the Vibe Spotlight. I want to talk about my girl, Cleo Soul. She just had 2 nights in New York. I am so jealous. Anybody, I'm not going to lie, again, because I live in New York City, my Instagram stories, I've just been tapping through angrily, seeing everybody who got those Cleo Soul tickets. I am so jealous. My roommate and I were trying so hard months ago, and I kind of forgot about it, and now I'm sad again. I'm now upset because you guys got to witness greatness. No, but it's amazing. It's her first time in the States. I did not realize that she's British, but I'm not surprised. I feel like the majority of like Black R&B singers that I truly like just love so much, a lot of them are actually like not from the States, so I'm not fully surprised. Her performance seemed amazing. I saw that she was like in the crowd singing with people. She looked absolutely beautiful. Some folks were so close to her that I could literally see her like body glitter just shimmering through the crowd. She looked stunning. I saw that she's going to be in LA at Hollywood Bowl now. And fun fact, it's the day that I land in LA. So I think I'm going to text my cousins today and be like, hey, like there's still tickets available. maybe we should pull up. But yeah, no, she seemed like she did an amazing job. I am such a huge fan. I actually have such a funny story of like how I even found out about Cleo Soul. I was debating on the subway today if I was going to actually share it. Okay, funny story. I guess funny now. We can laugh about it now because it's been years. I found out about Cleo Soul because of an ex back in college. And I remember like we used to share music a lot. And he put on Promises by Cleo Soul. This was like right after, a couple months after her Mother album dropped. And I just remember we were like in bed cuddling and he's playing the song. He's like really emotionally into this song. Like, girl, he's singing the lyrics. He's feeling it. I'm like, okay, like he just really likes this song. This is context, okay? Fast forward like a year later, because this was like one of those like, he wasn't my ex at the time. It was like a situationship thing. And then like a year later, we actually started dating for real. So a year later, we're now together and I can't remember like how it came up, but we were talking about couples having like a song, right? Like what would our song be? And he like low-key snitched on himself. He was like, oh, it can't be. Or I think I mentioned something like it should be Brent Faiyaz or Cleo Soul because those are two artists that we both love. He was like, oh no, it can't be like Cleo Soul. Fast forward, like later on in the conversation, he like exposes that Promises was him and his ex-girl song. I was gagged. I said, do you not remember that you put me on to Cleo Soul? Mind you, I was slowly finding out that the timelines were blurring between me and his ex-girlfriend, aka he was definitely messing with his ex while he was messing with me. Yeah, nuts. And so I think like the album might have dropped that August or something, and he was telling me about this song in like November, December. So yeah, timelines blurring all the way through. But it's kind of funny now, but I kid you not, it took me years to listen to that Mother album. Traumatized, literally traumatized. But who has not been traumatized by a Scorpio? I think the average person, if I'm being real with y'all. But such a beautiful album, and hopefully I can convince my cousins I can see her in LA. I hope I get to see her. Digital Digest, this is with all things trending on social media. So much has been trending, but you know, I gotta talk about him. Kanye, what are you doing? What is going on? Kanye West's tweets has been absolutely insane this past week. This is so bad of me to say. And it's not funny at all. But when he was like having his moments on Twitter, I think this must have been like the middle of the week. I was like, dang, I don't know what topics I'm going to talk about next week for trending topics. And I was like, oh, now I got something to talk about. I know, horrible, because I should not be feeding into his nonsense. But yeah, I have a theory about Kanye. I'm not going to lie. I think that because I don't know if it's like him being a narcissist or him just being a Gemini. I have no idea, but I genuinely believe that he just seeks a certain level of attention. And I think that the reason why he like says all these outlandish things, like it's almost like rage bait. He's truly the ultimate troll. Like he's better than the Twitter bots. He just knows how to get under people's skin. And so it's to the point where I honestly don't even believe him. I'm sorry, I might sound insane. People were like, oh my gosh, did you see that he like posted stuff about his like KKK outfit and he's a Nazi? I don't believe him. I feel like he's saying things to literally get a reaction out of people. And I don't think that he actually hates any community. I don't think that I truly do not believe that Kanye West believes he's a Nazi. I don't believe that he thinks that he's a part of any KKK or affiliation. I don't know. I think he's truly just saying anything to get a little bit of attention from people. And what I've noticed is a lot of folks weren't talking about it anymore because it was just like getting repetitive. I mean, I know it's insane to say like racist comments can be repetitive, but it really can be. I don't know about y'all, but in my 24 years of life, I have had quite a few racist interactions, and I know the difference between somebody who genuinely hates a certain community versus people who are just like saying things to get a reaction out of folks. And that's what I'm saying. Like he literally leans in more with the people that just want a reaction out of people. And that's why I just don't believe anything that he's saying. And I feel like the general audience kind of felt that too. I don't know if folks are just like, all right, he's just, having a crazy moment. Like, let's just ignore him. Somebody said that Kanye is kind of like your neighborhood crackhead, but like with a platform. Like you just kind of like nod and you just I know. No, it's like, it's insane. But they were like, you know, you just like kind of ignore him and you're like, all right, here he goes again. You know, he's having a little episode, but he just has a major platform. So it's very harmful. It's very dangerous. But I feel like just like the neighborhood crackhead, if you will, like you just start to ignore them and you're like, okay, whatever. Like it's just a regular day. Right. And hear me out. I'm taking y'all with me on this journey of like my thought process. And I genuinely believe that is why he was like, one day, okay, what can I say that will really get the people going, that will really get the people talking? That's when he started mentioning Beyonce and Jay-Z's children. A disgusting thing to do. I don't think you should be involving any children into this conversation, but it's not surprising. And guess what he did? He got a crazy, crazy, crazy reaction. It was exactly what he wanted. But I did see some people say, like, I can't believe some people are more outraged by him talking about Beyonce's children versus like the racist things that he's been saying to the Jewish community and also even like the Black community. But I think it's exactly what I just said. I feel like a lot of people don't believe him anymore because they're like, okay, you've been saying the same thing. Like, do you even believe yourself at this point? This is just something so out of pocket that it's like, and it's so random. It's like, why did you just start talking about your old friends? It's also interesting because he was like, I was talking to in one of my group chats about it, how all of a sudden he's now talking about like Kim Kardashian in a negative way. He's like mad at Kim and saying like, oh, she's keeping my Black children away from me. Like this white woman is keeping my Black children away. And it's like, you weren't classifying her as that when you were with her. You still had children with this white woman. And now you don't get to say, oh, like she's keeping my Black children away from their Black father. You don't get to make that type of statement after the fact, you know? And honestly, I'm gonna have to give Kim her props because she's low-key protecting her children. You have North around some crazy people. For you to be also like tweeting stuff like that, like, oh, they're keeping like the Black father away from his Black children. Mind you, the context is you're upset that she doesn't want her daughter on a song with Diddy, who has quite literally sex trafficking allegations and who is abusive and who's just like a bad role model in general. And also like, why would you have your child on a song? There's so many twisted things with that. And then also like apparently, I don't know if this was like confirmed or not, but apparently North was over his house and the visitation ended quickly because a security guard told Kim that Andrew Tate was on the way. Another man who has sex trafficking allegations. Like this is when it's becoming insane. Like this is beyond insanity because you're now involving your own children, your own daughter into this. And then furthermore, it's like you're putting her in harm's way or you're putting her around people that she should not be around. You're exposing her to things that like she should not be exposed to. It's weird. It's very weird. And then you're crying on Twitter saying like, oh, they're just trying to keep the Black man away from his kids. No, they're trying to keep you away from your children because you're putting them in harm's way. It makes no sense. And so this was like the beginning of like why he started calling out Beyonce and Jay-Z because he, for some reason, felt like they should step in. Why is that their responsibility? Why would Jay-Z step in and let you continue having visitation rights with your daughter so she can be around people with allegations or be on a song with a man who has like insane allegations? Like it's literally in jail for sex trafficking. Like this is so insane. Like this is a crazy argument. No one's gonna like side with you on this. I do feel really bad for Beyonce's children. It kind of reminds me of, I mean, this is not the same level, very different situations, but I just remember like all the scrutiny that Blue Ivy had to go through as a baby. Granted, like she didn't have access to social media, but still, like the public was so harsh to Blue Ivy about her hair, her looks, everything. And I even think about last year, and this is something that she did see, where people felt like she wasn't good at dancing. You know, she was just on the stage because her mother, like, duh. But like also making it seem like she shouldn't be up there and just like being really harsh on a child. I'm now thinking about like Kanye is now making comments, which isn't confirmed. And even if it is, I mean, he should not have used that language. But like, let's say the children are on the spectrum. Even if that is true, that is not something that you should be speaking on to the public. That is probably kept a secret for a reason. If it's true, again, it could very well not be true. But I feel like parents have every right to protect their children from the public scrutiny. And there probably is a reason why Beyonce and Jay-Z, again, if that is true, there is a reason why they don't want the public knowing that. They were so hard on Blue Ivy for her hair. Could you imagine what the Twitter comments would probably look like if this is something that's true and they were just like out about it? And these are like babies. Like I just think that like involving kids is not right whatsoever. It's very disgusting. And it's just like a different level of attention seeking. So now that I've said all that, I will also say, I do think it's hilarious how, not hilarious, I think it's comical how tapped in Kanye is though, because I did see a lot of those tweets that were like, oh, Jay-Z about to kill him. And then Kanye was also like, oh, Jay-Z about to kill me. I think it's fascinating when like celebrities are that like tapped into like the jokes on social media. And like, if you guys remember a couple months ago, or not even months, like weeks ago, people were acting like Beyonce was freaking Kerry Washington's dad from Scandal. They were treating her like she just had her own like special forces that could just be out here killing folks, and that she was this evil person. So that was like why people were joking like, oh, Kanye's about to go missing. Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. But he does need to go to some facility. He needs to be removed from social media. It's getting to a point, you know? And it's so interesting. I wonder, like, again, this could be a larger conversation. When do we like separate free speech? I mean, we always talk about like free speech versus hate speech. And then just also like, should everyone have the right to free speech? Because perhaps the things that he said about the Carter family wasn't considered hate speech, but like, should he still be allowed to say ridiculous, insane, disgusting things like that? Like, I just feel like some people do not deserve a platform, and some people should absolutely be banned forever. And I don't know if everyone deserves the right to free speech. Is that a crazy thing to say? Especially if it's harmful. It doesn't even have to be classified under as hate speech, like your traditional like hate speech, right? But if you're just constantly spewing like harmful things, you're constantly harassing people. Oh my gosh, she's practically harassing Cassie like once a week at this point for no reason. Like, should you be able to have your platform if you're causing so much emotional damage on multiple people for absolutely no reason? I say no. But also, like, look who's in charge of it. I feel like if Jack Dorsey was still, like, running that company, if he did not sell it, he, like, quite literally back in the fall, Kanye would no longer have a platform. Honestly, like, years ago, Kanye probably would never have a platform. But let's see how... I'm sure he's going to be right back in there. I'm not going to lie. He's probably going to be making even more insane comments this week. So we'll see. He's been awfully quiet. I always wonder like what's happening behind the scenes, like when he suddenly like goes quiet like that. Somebody said that he's back in Japan, so like maybe we'll get some peace and quiet so he's back in LA. But yeah, bless his heart. I also wonder, and I don't want to like talk about him too long, but I do remember in a recent episode of The Kardashians, Kim was talking about, like, she's kind of talking a little bit about what's been happening with Kanye. Basically, Chloe was discussing how, like, she thought her and Lamar were going to be with each other forever. And because of his drug addiction, that could not happen, right? And I think that makes a lot of sense. And she was just basically saying how hard it is where, like, you have this one image and you feel like you guys are going to be together for life, but it's taken away because of something else that's out of your control. That was what she was getting at. Like, his drug addiction is out of my control and it's something that he has to help himself, you know, through. Like, I can provide you all the resources. I could be supportive as much as possible. But at the end of the day, you have to put in the work. And so I definitely wonder, like, oh, and during that conversation, Kim was like, oh, trust me, I completely understand. Same situation with her. Like, she thought that, she didn't say his name, but like, we all know who she was talking about. She was like, I thought I was going to be with him forever up until that thing happened and he became a whole new person. What is that thing that happened? Because I feel like it's not discussed enough. A lot of like mental illness or like mental disorders is usually triggered by some form of trauma. Like, for example, him being bipolar. I know he says that like he's actually not bipolar anymore. He's autistic. I think he could be both. I'm not going to tap into that. I definitely think he could be both. But I do wonder what Kim is referencing. She kind of like alluded to it. She alludes that something happened to trigger a whole new person and somebody that she doesn't even recognize anymore. And I think that's what we all say, like his outbursts and stuff like this, like the things that he's doing and the way he's acting, it's like, it feels like a different person than what anybody's used to. Or like, we always knew that Kanye was kind of like outspoken and a little, you know, what he did to Taylor Swift. I just saw an SNL clip when he was the musical guest and LeBron James was hosting SNL. This was back in 2007. And LeBron James was like, I'm the SNL musical host this week. And Kanye West is the musical guest. And Kanye goes, and don't worry, there's still white people here. And it was like 2007. So he's always said crazy things, but it was never harmful things. And also I think like, his emotions obviously are just not regulated, right? Like there's a lot going on there. But I do wonder, like she alludes that like something happened. And I don't think like a lot of people feel like it was the death of his mother. And it very well could be. I think that might have been what triggered like signs of like him maybe being bipolar. Some people even talk about like in his music, Dark Twisted Fantasy, I believe is the name of it. That in that album, you can like see signs of like somebody who is struggling or battling with bipolar disorder, but like wasn't diagnosed with it, right, at that time. But I feel like she's saying that there was a specific moment or event or something that happened that like triggered this whole new personality. I don't know if that would be like drug addiction or if like something actually happened to him to trigger this. I don't know. People were saying that he was addicted to laughing gas. And I do feel like drugs can absolutely trigger anything, honestly. So you just got to be careful. The last thing that was like trending recently, Ashton Hall. You guys might not know him by name, but you definitely have been seeing him if you're on any social media device. There is this guy named Ashton who is out here doing daily like day of my life vlogs or like morning routines. Let me walk y'all through his day, okay? He starts his day before around like 4 a.m. And I don't know what he's doing before 4 a.m. It looks like I don't even think he's washing his face. I feel like he's just like brushing his teeth, meditating, journaling a little bit. He does like some push-ups. And then around 6 a.m., he does a cold plunge to the face with sparkling water and ice cubes. I have never in my life, I'm almost tempted to try it. I don't want to give into this. I'm almost tempted to try it because I will kid you not, I think it was like Deer Park that I've been drinking. I had a seltzer yesterday that was so strong that literally my chest tightened up. Like I could not imagine a cold plunge with ice cubes. It's with sparkling. Like that just sounds so absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, that's at 6 a.m. Then he is working out roughly at around 6:30 for about an hour. After his little hour workout, he goes and he jumps in a pool, mind you, a community pool. That man took no shower. I think I could be overanalyzing his morning routine here, y'all. But listen, you just worked out for about an hour. You're all sweaty and you just hop straight into the pool. No shower. Ew. Like, I would be so annoyed. I am so team. Like, y'all need to rinse off. You need to rinse the day off before you get into this community pool, please. I beg of you. After he goes swimming for a little bit, he then showers and eats by 9:30. I feel like there's a lot of wasted time in this morning routine. I'm going to be real with you. I think we could optimize a little bit. I feel like between the times of 4 a.m. and 6:30, we could chop that down to an hour. I feel like he could get all of this done in a matter of 2.5 hours max. All this man is doing is meditating, doing a cold plunge, working out, going to the pool, and literally like eating. And he's doing it for some odd reason in 5.5 hours. That's a little ridiculous. Like, you don't have, it should not take you 5.5 hours to do those 5 items. we could pick up the speed just a little bit and you could get more rest, honestly. Maybe it's like him moving, maybe the camera angles and like, you know, like trying to film every interaction, like maybe that adds to the time. Anyway, it's a crazy, crazy thing. And the memes I've been seeing online has been absolutely hilarious. Everyone's cracking me up. I've been seeing a lot of people like trying to make their own version of this like morning routine. I also saw a video of him saying like people are copying me and like, you know, people are stealing my idea, da da da. Sir, I don't think they're doing it out of admiration. I feel like they're low-key making fun of you. I don't know if he realizes this. He must realize this, but he's on social media like people are copying me and this is what happens to content creators and folks are like stealing my ideas. Like, okay. You're clearly not catching the satire in this moment, but I digress. I know he's probably making so much money from it, so I can't even hate, honestly. If all these videos are more than a minute, he's getting millions of views too, and he's definitely in that TikTok content creation portfolio. He's definitely making like more, like I would say 2 to 3 months worth of rent per video, and that's a minimum. Like he's probably making a lot more than that. I would not be surprised if he like gets sponsorships all of a sudden. It would be absolutely hilarious if like he switches to sparkling water company. That would be a clear sign that somebody wrote him a check and was like, use ours instead. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. I don't understand the bananas piece. I think because I was like skipping through it, I might have missed like where the bananas come into play. I don't know if like the bananas are a part of like the water. I have no clue. But you know, it's social media is quite a place. It's quite a place. I feel like that was pretty much it. It was a very interesting week. It was a lot going on. Hopefully things die down. I can't wait for like some more new music. I was telling Ryan last episode too that we haven't gotten that much music this year. I do feel like a lot of artists don't drop until like the summer, fall time anyway, so it might make sense. But yeah, like music has been a little quiet. I know Erykah Badu is about to drop an album. I cannot wait for that. I'm so excited. I hope she goes on tour because I will be there. I will be out there. I'm trying to think if like anybody else has been mentioning any new music. Oh, Leon Thomas dropped his remix with Chris Brown. I thought it was really good. A lot of people were like curious as to why he dropped another remix. I believe this is all like a Grammys play, if I'm being honest. Because Mutt, I don't think his album Mutt was able to like what's it called? I don't think they made the timeline when it comes to like being put up and like being nominated and all that fun stuff, all that terminology, if you will. I think it was too late for that. However, I know the single was able to. And I feel like with all these different remixes, he's probably trying to find different ways for the single to like be up for a nomination again. But yeah, I thought it was fun. I thought it was cute. I'm excited for new music too. I hope he's gonna like drop either a deluxe or a new album soon. We just need more like R&B, but also just like new music in general. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. I don't think there's anybody else teasing new music. I feel like we're all, I don't know, I guess maybe it's too early. Like we're all just like listening to Nokia, Squabble Up, and like Cowboy Carter. We're all like listening to a lot of stuff. I mean, besides Nokia, but we're also like leaning into the 2024 music. So hopefully that starts to change just a little bit. But yeah, it was an interesting week. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you enjoyed this solo episode. Let me know if you want more solo episodes. I'll like try to intentionally find different opportunities to place them in. But I've been enjoying the guests. I hope you guys have been enjoying the guests too. I like it better when I'm like going back and forth with somebody and they like throw in their crazy opinions, especially this week. I was supposed to have a guest this week. We had to push it to next because of scheduling conflict. But I feel like she would have been absolutely hilarious during the Kanye West discussion. So that's kind of sad. And that's why I love guests, because I want somebody else's opinion, especially if they have like polar opposite opinions. I mean, you guys already know this. I think I talked about this. Oh, if you don't follow me on YouTube, you probably don't know about this. But I was talking about to my YouTube community how I really enjoyed the conversation with Flo This was like episodes ago. Just because like we had such polarizing opinions on so many different topics, but it made it fun. Like I love going back and forth with people. So yeah, I hope you guys have been enjoying it so far. I'm excited for next week's conversation. And yeah, thank you so much if you're listening on audio, and thank you for those watching on YouTube. And I'll catch you guys next Wednesday. Bye.